Let's now take you to Johannesburg, where the Democratic Alliance has set out its vision for the city's future. The party's mayoral candidate, Helen Zille, unveiled a manifesto and long-term plan for the city. Our reporter, Veronica Makhoali, joins us now live with an update. Veronica, good to speak to you this afternoon. Water was big on the agenda, certainly of that billboard. What has come out of this manifesto from earlier today?
Absolutely, Hugo. I can tell you that DA mayoral candidate Helen Zille outlined and detailed what she calls a clear plan to restore Johannesburg. In fact, as she was speaking to the many members of the DA here at the Johannesburg City Hall, one of the things she kept reiterating was that if the city of Johannesburg fails, if this economic power hub fails, ultimately South Africa fails. And that really speaks to perhaps maybe the crucial cross point that we're at when it comes to this year's local government elections. But part of her manifesto essentially focused on 5 key commitments, and I'm going to focus on 4 of them, which will probably form a backbone of her administration. The first one was, of course, the promise and the pledge of reliable electricity and water supply. The second was, of course, talking about fixing Johannesburg's road. The third focused on economic activity, promising 200,000 jobs within the city of Johannesburg. And the fourth was, of course, enhancing and strengthening law enforcement order. And just to unpack this and talk a little bit about it, I'm now joined by the DA's Johannesburg Regional Chairperson, Wendy Alexandra. Thank you so much for your time, Wendy. One can't help but hear those commitments to say, is this something that Joburg residents should not already be expecting from their government? Or is, the DA's manifesto coming from a point of promises, or perhaps maybe speaking to residents where the bar is so low?
Absolutely. The manifesto, the pledges that we unpacked today by Helen Zille, our mayoral candidate, should be something that we should not be expecting, or should be something we see in the future. This should be a day-to-day reality for most Joburgers, and we know it's not. And I think excitingly to hear that we want to focus on law enforcement, making sure that law enforcement touches us in many ways, from our green spaces in our public parks where we take our families to enjoy some time out, to catching a taxi to get to work and being able to walk safely to your employment. But also the thing that she said that resonated with me is that you cannot grow a city in chaos. And if we want to grow those 200,000 jobs, we need to have the stability, and that comes on the backbone of safety and security.
Absolutely. And of course, we know that where there is business, where there is economic activity, we then see that reduction of crime. But another sore point for Joburg residents as well is infrastructure crisis. From her speaking about reliable electricity and water, a big part of it was making sure that the budget for that infrastructure is actually relocated to there.
Absolutely. Joburg doesn't have a money problem. We have an administration problem. We have the second largest budget in the country outside of the national budget. So we have the money to make it work. Now we need the desire and the will to make sure that that money goes to the right places. A stat that we heard is that a lot of money is swept into the Joburg central account, and very little of that goes back into the entities where the maintenance and infrastructure needs to happen. We spend so little money on maintenance that what we're seeing now is actually predictable, but it is becoming a crisis.
And of course, the other one was, speaking of infrastructure, was the promises of the roads, potholes. Hearing about the fact that if a pothole is reported, the pledge is that it will be fixed in 72 hours. For somebody, a Joburg resident listening to this, how crucial is it that we actually get just those small, fine details in place?
The backbone of economics is the logistics system, and what of that is the roads. So just to make sure that our economy is working, we need the roads. But outside of getting our economy working, our day-to-day lives, getting our children to and from school, us commuting to work, is all part of the roads. But also to travel safely. People don't travel at night because you can't see, is there road or isn't there road, and that fatality that could happen.
And just a very quick question, the last one for you. It's all well and all to have these pledges, but the reality is, as we head to the local government elections, it's going to be hotly contested. We're looking at other political parties that could possibly steal away the vote from the DA. How do you promise to provide these commitments while, of course, facing the reality that we could see another coalition?
Yeah. So we are in the best place that we could ever be as a Democratic Alliance, and Helen was saying is that it's now up to the residents to support us and to vote for the DA. We can only do this if we get a majority. With a majority government, we can make our pledges a reality, a very basic reality, and then from that basic reality, we can build this city into something further. We cannot do that with a coalition. We need an outright majority. We need residents to register. Check that you register to vote and go out there, take the time and vote. And vote for a party that has a reputation for delivering, and we know Helen can do it. So go vote for her, go vote for the Democratic Alliance.
All right, well, thank you very much. The DA's Johannesburg Regional Chairperson there, Wendy Alexandra. The reality is, though, Hugo, will this resonate with Joburg voters? Will this, of course, be what is convincing enough for them to cast their vote for Helen Zille? Well, we'll continue to monitor that and to see if these pledges will land. Well, of course, the campaigning for the local government elections are well on their way. Hugo.
Veronica Makhoali coming to us from Johannesburg.